Welcome back. Today we're working on the comp car. We got to get ready for round 2 of HotPit. Registered for Riverside Drift in Indiana. I'm really excited about that. I went last year in Trenton's car and I felt like I was doing really well in a car that I was not comfortable with, and then the wheel fell off. If you guys remember seeing that, I'll add the clip of it here. Hit the wall in his car, felt really bad about that. It kind of ruined my weekend. It definitely ruined my weekend. We almost got it back together with a team. We had it all jacked up. Rudy came down and helped. We were smacking it, trying to line everything up, and we just couldn't get it. It was actually really intense. In fact, I'm gonna go find that and put it in the video right here.
I convinced the judge with Derek to let Derek change the tire in the permit. Derek said to take the time to change the tire. We got it done 4 times. So Derek Madison was before us. And Derek Madison might not work. Is that good?
It's not gonna work.
Sitting right there. I can't think of any solution here. Put the grind on it more. Put it in. I mean, look how bad we're hitting. It's like. In the truck! Or Mike. No, we're gonna tug it again. Someone hold the brake. Put the car down. Put it on the ground. Someone hold the handbrake. Hold the handbrake. Hold that brake. I could do it a little harder, but dragging on the ground really don't get hurting anything. Okay, do it again. It's not hurting nothing, right?
Okay, one more time.
Hey, hold it! Hold the car! Hold on,
So we didn't make it in time. We missed it by like maybe 3 or 4 minutes. But aside from that, we're working on this car. If you guys watched the videos last time, you saw we had tons of problems with coils and spark plugs. And so what we did is, I actually already had this stuff here at the shop, I just didn't do it. We're gonna put Audi coils. There's a few different types of Audi coils. The ones that I got specifically are the, I call them the Audi short coils. I think they're from the A3. But the connector actually goes upside down from what you would think. And so the wiring pinout is different than the standard long coils, is what I call them. So we actually have the specific pinout for the Audi short coils. And I like the Audi short coils because, well, I like the Audi coils in general because they clip really well onto the spark plug. When you go and put them in, it clips and it doesn't move. Like, you don't need a bracket, you don't need anything. Now the short coils actually sit below the valve cover line, where the tall coils are probably about right there. And like they're hard to get off because they snap in really well. So it gives a lot of confidence knowing that they're like installed in there and solid. But these are the coils we had in there. And I drove all of FD like this with these same coils, and it actually didn't cause me a lot of problems that I know of. It might have actually been some random problems that I had, but it was nothing major. But this time it was a major problem. So every single one of these is going in the trash, and we're swapping out for these. Now these are interesting because you can get them from the dealership, and they're actually not very expensive. These ones I actually buy on Amazon, and I've had good luck with them. They're super cheap, like ridiculously cheap, like 10 to 15 bucks a piece, cheap. And I always carry extra coils with me. I have brand new ones. I had one fail on Drift Week once, and it just started misfiring. Pulled over, started pulling plugs, figured it out, put another one in. I was fixed within 5 minutes. That's a little bit risky, having coils that are that could potentially fail, because that could happen in the middle of a battle and take you out. But either way, I've used enough of these to know that they're pretty dang reliable, and I trust using these coils. You can also find them in almost any auto parts store. They're easy to get a hold of, they're inexpensive, and they generate a lot of juice. So it's a good alternative compared to like some of the other more expensive coils, like the R35 coils, those Toyota coils, which are good, but I just don't trust all those used ones that I have, and they're a lot more expensive to get. Anyways, this is the way we're going. So what I was going to show you today is basically how we pin it out and what the difference is between what we've got and what we're doing. So I'll get into that in just a second. I didn't say that. So if some of you guys have been watching this for a while, you've probably seen Jake on the videos. I just call him Jake, Big Jake, my buddy Jake. I've known Jake for years. And Jake actually was like the main guy behind the FD program. When we were out on the road, he would like fix the car when we got home. He would make sure everything was running smooth. Jake is like a big part of the team. And now, same car, the band's back together. Jake committed to me that he's gonna go to the HotPit events this year. Kelly's actually having some family problems, and so, is that a weird way to say that? Kelly can't go with us to the rest of HotPit, unfortunately, because he's a good character. I love having Kelly on the trips. But even if Kelly was or wasn't going, I still wanted Jake to go with us. But now that Kelly's out, I kind of need Jake to go with us. But either way, Jake is one of the best technicians that I know, and I'm super excited to have Jake's help. And Jake's just like Jake's the guy. Like you can't explain it. You guys will see in the videos. Jake's the guy. He's just the guy. Jake actually has a WRX rear-wheel drive that he put a BRZ transmission behind a EJ20. Yeah. And it all just works, bolts together, and then you don't have to like weld your center diff and do all that stuff. It's like a proper rear-wheel drive Subaru with a Nissan diff and axles, and yeah, it's a really cool car. So what we're doing today is basically doing a nut and bolt, and we've already found a lot of issues. The turbo was literally falling off. Of the 6 bolts, 1 was missing, and the other, at least 4 of them were loose, and I think 1 may have been holding the turbo on. So it's been a while since I've had this level of program, but it's obvious that this car needs to be gone through literally every time after it's been driven. Kind of like running through my head, a summary of what we did last time. These injectors should be good because they were new and we put them in at the track, so I'm not worried about the injectors. The fuel system I think should be good. We did get a sponsorship deal with Deechworks, so I was gonna order some like a fuel cell, internal fuel cell surge tank, and basically fix everything that we have going on in the rear. The stuff that I have is way outdated. It's at least 10, if not more than 10 years old. And while it still works, it's not great. And now that I'm saying that, I forgot we still have the issue with the relays going on under there, so I have to fix the fuel pump relays, but I'm not gonna do that until I basically redesign the fuel system and have new pumps and all that stuff. But for now, I wanna get this fixed, basically just drive this car a little bit. I might go to a local event and shake it down. We have until May something, we have
May 6th,
4 weeks.
5th or something.
Yeah.
When we gotta be there.
We have about 4 weeks, so I give like 3 proper weeks of good getting the car fixed. And usually I wait till the last minute, but I decided this is, actually Jake kind of pushed me. Jake's the guy, I'm telling you. He's like, hey, you should pull that car in and do those coils. And in my mind, I'm like, oh, I got 3 weeks. That means I got at least 2 weeks before I got to start on it. But this kind of like gets my brain going and like what we need to order and get stuff coming. Because if you wait till the last week and you need parts, you got to start paying overnight shipping and stuff. So I want to make sure the car's good to go. But let's move on to the coils. I'm going to show you guys in detail how we do the coil stuff. So the car being low, sometimes it's hard to work on, especially when you're old and your back hurts. It's on a 4-post lift, which is on the ground, but that gives me an extra 6 inches, but still, when I come up here, you know. So I got 2 options, right? I can either to work like that, right? Or look at that.
Bring it right up to you.
Much better, much better. All right, so I'll show you the detailed process of swapping. This is a Toyota style coil. This has 4 pins, and the Audi coil has 4 pins. And fortunately for us, this is a chase-based harness. It's wired up where each one of these actually will just swap over to the Audi coil and not need to be directed anywhere else inside the harness. So we have, in order, we have power, ground, signal, and ground, which is exactly what we have on the Audi side, but they're gonna be flipped around a little bit. Since we can't use these Toyota pins, I just cut these off flush to leave as much wire as possible. And first things first, this is the power wire. We're gonna strip it back just a little bit. We want just enough wire sticking out of it so that we can crimp the pin on there. When it comes to crimping these on, we have, this is our watertight seal. So when you push it in, it actually prevents water from coming in and damaging the pin with corrosion or anything like that. And then we have our, these are the Volkswagen Audi pins. So when you're crimping, you wanna make sure that the back part of the crimp overlaps the rubber seal, because that's actually gonna hold it to the wire so it can't slip out of place. So first thing I'm gonna do is crimp that. And then I'm gonna crimp the wire into the sleeve. Make sure it's pinched down there really good so it doesn't come out. Now, after I crimp it, I wanna make sure that it's a good crimp, so you give it a tug. I've seen guys do crimping before without checking their crimps with the tug, and they'll just pull right out. Like, for example, let's say we're at the track and I had a loose crimp and I didn't notice it. It might run fine, but then we go to service the spark plugs, I pull these out, it pulls on that crimp, it comes out inside of the sleeve, and then I have no idea what's going on. You start getting a misfire and you're like, what's going on here? And you pull the crimp out and it's gonna take you forever to diagnose it, and then you're at the track. So especially in motorsports, you wanna make sure that all your crimps are good, and because that's gonna cause you a nightmare and ruin your entire day, because it's gonna take you forever to figure it out. So the best method of solving problems is preventing problems from even existing. And then we're just gonna replicate this 4 times here. We'll fast forward through this part. Okay, now that we got them all crimped and all the weather seal connectors in place, the next step is to populate the connector with the pins. So we have my printout here. I keep this handy because as much as I look at it, I like to double check and triple check my work. So we're gonna do 12 volts first. That goes into pin 3. If you look at the connector here, they're actually labeled for you, 1, 2, 3, 4. So to put it into pin 3, these go through the back of the connector into pin 3. If you look down at it, I call it the mouth of the connector, has to be sideways like that. It can't be that way. It has to be sideways. And that's the way it fits inside of there. So, you see down in there? These are kind of tricky to get in there. You kind of got to wiggle it around. I'm actually looking through the camera lens to do this. There it goes. Focus, focus, focus. You hear that click? Now that's in there. Next, pin 4 is signal from ECU, which in this case is our yellow wire. A properly done harness, all the other 3 wires should be the same color across all 6 coils, and the signal wire should be different for each individual one, because the different signals need to be separated at the ECU, where they can share powers, they can share grounds, but they cannot share signals. So a properly done harness, an OEM harness, this is a chase-based harness that's properly done. Each signal wire is a different color, so it makes it easy to distinguish which wire is the signal. Okay, same thing for number 4. Put it through the back and kind of wiggle it. It does get a little bit tricky doing this. If someone's got a good method for doing this and I'm doing it wrong, let me know in the comments. Don't just stand there and yell at the screen. Yell into your keyboard and let me know, you're an idiot, Brandon, this is how I do it, and then maybe I'll learn something. All right, that one clicked into place also. Nope. The boot. I forgot to put the boot on.
That's boot.
Ah, don't forget the boot. See all these other ones? You slip a boot on first. It's just like forgetting to put your heat shrink on before you crimp your wires together. I got to pull these two back out to slip the boot on. The only reason I forgot is because Jesse didn't get the boot out for me. I'll go get the boot. We'll be right back. Okay, so when you screw up, like I do, which you will, they make a special tool. You pretty much need this tool. A lot of kits come with it. If not, you should definitely buy one because it's almost impossible to depin it otherwise. I guess you could use two, top and bottom, but it's like you want them synchronized like this. You just literally force it in there and pull. You simply force it in there and just like it's easy with this tool. As long as you got the tool, it's easy. It's totally a one-man job. Makes it really, really simple. Oh, there we go. Yep. I think they make it just difficult enough so you learn your lesson and don't make that mistake twice. What was I doing?
Boot.
Boot.
Now to get all those connectors through the boot.
Jake's the guy.
It's gonna be like one at a time,
Yeah.
and the next one after that's always gonna be a little bit harder.
So you should have done this first.
Absolutely. Which I did on literally every other one that I did. But then Jesse didn't get me the boot. So, which forced me to forget.
Looks
Are you
fun.
gonna sit there and take that, Jesse?
I'm fine.
I'm fine.
I'm not the one trying to push push these things through a boot.
He was cruising pretty good too, putting those connectors on. So
Can't win them all. Okay, so number 3 is power. We'll fish that one up through there. Clip. Number 4 is signal, which is the yellow one. So we'll fish that one up through there. Number 2 is ground.
okay.
If you have trouble pushing them up by hand, you can actually push the back side of the pin with a pushing tool.
A blunt tool of some sort, so it doesn't poke the wiring or
Yeah.
anything.
You want to make sure you hear them all click, and then the same way that I check the terminals for being crimped properly, you want to make sure that nothing pulls out. So give a tug on each one of those wires. They're all in there really well. Now we've got this this fancy piece here, and what this does is it actually goes through and it locks all the pins from pulling out. They have a plastic internal lock in there that is the click you hear when you push them in, so they don't come right back out. But this is like a double security feature. It goes through and it double locks them. And so this has the raised ridges on one side and it's flat on the other side. The flat side is going to go down towards the wires. And there's actually like a track inside of the plastic that you want these two raised portions to fall into. So if you see, is it focused?
Yeah.
If you see, it goes into the track nicely. If you miss the track or get outside of it, which I've had this problem before, when I want to do it wrong, I can't. There you go. See, that side is going outside of the track. If that happens, one side will be locked, but your coil will never fully seat when you go to plug it in because it can't go past that pink part. So make sure that it's done correctly all the way in there. And then I just push it in with the same blunt tool. Boom. And that's done. And then what we're gonna do is pull this backside on and literally just stretch it over. That's it. It's that simple. I've got one more to do, and then we'll show you all the coils, how they clip in and line up and look really good in there. All right, so they're all fancily done up. I'm really excited about like having nice boots on them and stuff. Not only does that make them watertight completely, but it also makes them look good. And yeah, with these short coils, it's gonna be rad. Let's plug them in. Super easy. The other nice thing is like this back one needs to be low profile and it fits under everything that would otherwise be in its way. Dang, it's nice. Clip, I love it. That looks really cool.
That's a satisfying pop.
Yeah. The Toyota ones don't make that pop. They just make the engine misfire.
That does look clean.
You can stagger them to the left, to the right, make them straight, whatever you need. How's that, Jesse? Satisfactory?
Fire it up.
All right, let's give it a shot.
Roll Tide.
All right, guys, so we charged the battery, and now we can finally test it and see if it's gonna work. Thanks, Jake.
It actually moved by itself right when I put my finger on it, so I was going to force. That's the force of the engine moving the transmission.
Good thing it doesn't start on the first crank. Hard me through the ball. I swear that's the only time I've ever done that.
Don't try this at home.
Never happened before. Hey! Look at that. I didn't even adjust the tune. The coils just work. That's how Kelly drives through the pits. All right, guys, thanks for watching. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye.